Erev Shabbat Shalom, gentlemen. We're continuing with where we left off. So yesterday we spoke about Bishul Bishul b'davar lach. We introduced the concept of cooking after something was already cooked with liquids, and we said there's two scenarios. There is if it's mistamek v'yafelo, like soup that when you reheat it, it gets better. That's asur on Shabbat. Maran is posek like the machmirim, like not unlike the Rambam and the Ran and the Rashba, the other Rishonim who are machmir, and Maran is posek like the machmirim. So we don't reheat soups and the like on Shabbat. But we saw a big chidush that with water, that some or other foods that are mitzamek v'ra lahen, you would be able to reheat them as liquids on Shabbat according to Maran, based on the Bet Yosef as well. We also spoke about choresh, not literally meaning. What about this question that we posed was, what about if it's partially liquid and partially solid? And we saw a famous shuvah from Yabi Omer in Chazon Ovadia, in Yabi Omer, in a few places, where he explains that if the majority was or is solid, then you can reheat the whole dish. This is not like Rabbi Tzon Bashirul that has a different understanding of the Bet Yosef. It was all based on the Girsa in the Bet Yosef. Is it sheyesh, or what was the language? It was, is it rubo or sheyesh bo? Rubo means there was some sauce, or sheyesh, rubo means majority sauce, or sheyesh bo means there is some sauce. The implication of that is tremendous. Rabbi Tzon Bashirul was machmir, but Rabbi Chaim, based on Ravadi Yosef, is lenient for our community members when it comes to choresh, not so liquidy choresh, more thick choresh, even if it's 30% liquid or 40% liquid, as long as the majority is the solid, we can reheat it on Shabbat on a plata. So now let's continue. Davar karush nevushal hanimoach. Oh, actually, well, first, dargot shonot shel smichut. So this is the next question. We're on Halacha Lamed Aleph, Perek Rishon, Maseh Shabbat. The next question at the top of page Yud Chet. The next question is, okay, how do you quantify something, how thick something is? Okay? So he explains, Yeshnam dargot shonot shel smichut v'ma'achalim uv'sugim shonim shel retavim mevushalim. V'chol shu mitztanek v'ra'alo haru nidon kedavar yavesh. So this is an interesting principle that he gives based on the Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. How do I quantify if something is thick or not? Is ketchup thick? So we'll get into that in the footnote. That's why I said it. Or is liquid or something? Yeah, is it liquid or solid? Meaning it's not actually solid, but it has to be thick. So the way they quantify based on Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach is that what? If it is mitzamek veralo, if as you boil it, as it cooks, as it heats up, it gets worse, then it's considered a yavesh. Okay, obviously not a tub of water. Talking about something that has liquidy substance, but it's also thick, relatively thick. That's how they quantify it. Now we'll read the footnote. This is about ketchup. Hagon Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach Zatzal Katab b'tshuva b'sof sefer Me'or HaShabbat Demachal nikra ketchup vehu resek agvaniot mitubal. He's trying to explain what it is. It's what is it? Resek is it's chopped up tomato dish, dip paste. Yeah, nidon kedavar yavesh. According to Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, he quantifies ketchup like a solid. Okay, we can't dot. I go to Rav Eliashiv. Very good. Ulam. However, this is, I was going to say Rav Moshe Feinstein's machmir. They bring it. Ulam begor Moshe mitzaded de kevan shemachal ze nozli. Moshe Feinstein argues on the Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and says because it's a liquid, at the end of the day, if I pour it, it doesn't stay, it spreads. It should be considered like a liquid, which is lach.
Wait, I'm also.
Yeah.
We said, is that in accordance with the opinion we just read up top?
What do you mean?
The raw, if it gets worse when you cook it?
That is the opinion we read up top, yeah.
And that's in accordance with it?
I don't know, it's a good question. I don't know, maybe not actually.
I feel like...
No, I think the next line is where he talks about it. Yeah. So the author is not saying that all of these Ashkenazi Achronim are being posek like the Mishnah Berurah. We saw the machloket earlier, where with something lach that means tamek veralo, the Mishnah Bura is still machmir like the bach, that is asur. It's a unique kula specifically to the Bet Yosef, that liquids that are mistamek veralo you can reheat. So when he says aval ledidan lenagin kevazak hashulchan aruch, us that we hold like Maran hashulchan aruch, the davar hamitzamek veralo and bishul achar bishul, that's something that is mitzamek veralo. There's no longer the prohibition of bishul achar bishul. Kanal ve'ara memvav. Pashut hadavar damachaze ve'domav nidonim kedavar yavesh sherehem mitzamkim ve'rala. We said it's pashut. It's simple to us that they are considered like the yavesh because as you boil them, they get worse. Okay. Now, good question. Literally about ketchup. Does it get worse when you cook it? It's incholent. So maybe the honest truth is, if you do it by itself, it probably goes bad. I've never tested it out. Has anyone ever boiled or heated up ketchup on its own?
Sometimes it gets warm.
No, it's disgusting. Exactly. That's our answer.
Like on a
warm
hot plate,
ketchup, by itself, it's appalling. I think that's the answer. That if you would cook it even more, that it would be mismek veralo. So for us, according to Maran, it would be mutar in these scenarios of thickness.
Taste worse, you're saying?
Taste worse, yeah. It wouldn't get better. It would get worse.
Ketchup, like maybe like jelly or like other
Any
spreads that you would
sauces,
say.
like mayo,
Like barbecue sauce is the same thing.
No, barbecue sauce.
It's the same texture. No?
It's a good question. I don't know. Not necessarily. It depends. It really depends on the brand. Depends how much mayo they put, how much sauce they put. Like, really depends on their ingredients.
it gets better.
Like in Israel, sometimes you have those ketchup that's just water. I don't know why. It's funny because maybe Rav Shlomo Auerbach is talking about that.
Watery ketchup, it is.
Rav Shlomo
Is like
Auerbach,
hot sauce considered
the hot sauce
pure
for
water?
sure. Yeah, that's liquidy. I don't think that's ketchup. There's no thickness to
You
it.
can't say ralo?
Could be. Could be.
Yeah, I'm saying like
That-
some of these sauces.
Okay, what's the nafkamina we're asking right now?
If you put hot sauce on the plata,
That's a problem because it was never cooked. We're only talking in the realm of it was already cooked once. Like maybe you're saying ketchup was already pasteurized once.
You can't add ketchup or hot sauce to your chili pot.
What?
You can't add those things to your chili pot.
Can't add what?
Hot sauce, probably not.
On Shabbat itself? To the crock
It's like what we said
pot?
about the spices, right?
So that's a good question. I don't know the mitzvot of a hot sauce. Has it been cooked yet or not?
What do you put hot sauce
Has it
on
been
your
pasteurized?
I know some sauces
heats
like
up the
tomato
chili.
sauce is cooked.
And it heats up the hot
That's
sauce.
not,
That's fine. It's a
sauce is
cliche.
not-
Oh, it's cliche?
Yeah, once you pour it into the pot, my bowl is a cliche.
No, you take it from the pot.
I pour hot sauce into
pot is
the
clear.
problem is on the fire.
It's what?
What? Once you
Oh,
pour
you're
the
also allowed
chili
to
into the
put
bowl,
water
there's no
in your
issue.
restaurants, it's in a separate pot.
And once you're allowed to what?
You gotta like add water. to
Exactly, yeah, once it's in a separate bowl. Yeah, Kli Shema Vashel.
Oh, it's confusing.
So
'cause
again, the nafkamina here isn't, I don't know, let's continue, but I don't know what ramifications it'll have besides learning the halacha well to our practical day in life. If I think of one, we'll say it. But let's continue so we can cover some ground. Next is Davar Karush Nevushal Hanimuach Toch Kedei Achinum. Who asked about this? Something congealed that melts when you warm it up.
I think I have.
Similar to
You
how
asked
things
about
like
it. I think you asked about it, right?
sea thing.
What?
It's something that gets more liquidy as you.
Yeah, maybe. So this is important halacha. Davar ma'achal mevushal, a cooked dish, kar, that is now cold, sheyesh bo rov rotav karush, that it's majority made up of congealed sauce. So think about it. There are many chulent, the classic example. Chulent is cooked, and you let it sit out for 2-3 hours, it becomes like hard.
It's
Yeah,
like for, like,
it
put in the
gets
fridge,
congealed.
sometimes the water like has
Okay? Mutar lechamemo al gabe kederat chamin. Ha'omedet ala esh. You're allowed to warm it up on a pot that's on the fire. Again, we're using this reference because you can't put it directly on the fire. Or liteno al gabe plata chashmalit. Or put it on a plata, a electric plata. De'af shesof harotav liot nimuach mechamat hachom. Even though that the sauce will eventually will melt because of the heat. Mikol makom kevan shebishara nitano harehu karush. When you put it on, it's solid or it's congealed. And bo mishum bishul achar bishul kedin davar yavesh. Wow, very good.
It sounds like ice also, by the way.
this is talking about
Starts as solid, becomes liquid.
It's a good point. I think we'll get into ice though. We'll get into ice. Anything with fat, yeah. Yeah.
Specifically when it's not as solid, when it's liquid, it's mostly liquid.
What?
This is when it's mostly liquid, when it's not solid.
No. This is I cooked food already. I put it in the refrigerator, it got congealed. The liquid sauce of it,
Like fat of meat.
the fat of the meat, yeah.
We're talking about no difference if it's mostly
Fat of everything.
In this scenario, l'chora, no. If it's solid, it's solid. Davar ma'achal, we're talking about food. We're talking about a food that its sauce became, so it's mistama majority like solid. Mistama.
Yeah, most of the cooked
What?
It's like a chicken marsala.
Yeah, l'chora. L'chora.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so that's a good point. So they bring in the footnote. This is the opinion of Shulchan Aruch in Shin Yud Chet Seif Yud Tet Zayin. The mutar ten in penada. You know what empanada? Empanada, literally. Maran uses the Spanish word Shulchan Aruch a few times. Empanada is a filled brekas type thing. Okay, pashdita mulayt bishuman. It's like a brekas filled with fats and different types of meat, fried. Yeah. כנגד האש במקום שיהיה הצודק בו, ואף על פי שהשומן שנקרש חוזר ונמרח, even though that its oil that is congealed will melt and become liquidy again, become oily again. וכתב המשנה ברורה, והטעם שמותר כיוון שהוא יבש, ואף על פי שהשומן חוזר ונמרח, בכל מקום מקר יבש is considered dry, כיוון שבשעה שנותנו לחממה לא נמחה עדיין, ועיין שם בשער ציון עוד קכ"ב. Very, very, very good. Excellent. Yeah, what's your question?
Majority congealed is solid. That's how we understand.
Correct.
So at that point, it's going to be so many scenarios where you have
What's the
fried
fidush
food,
there if we said
oil comes out
if it's
of it.
raw,
Anything with
solid,
red meat.
then it's anyway.
I was gonna ask people who said you can't do raw salad agree to that at least.
So he brings it. אלא שקעתי צריך עיון. דמה שבכך, we have a question still. דמה דבכך בשעה שהנתינה עדיין לא נמחה רערותיו, הלא סופו להיות נימוח ונוזלי. The question is, okay, I get it. While I'm putting it on the fire, it's solid. But at the end, it's going to become liquid. Why is that kula? It'll be bishul bishul. And with something that's a liquid, there's a problem of reheating. כיוון שעיקר בישול חומו. והנראה בזה, דלא עצם הדין שינוי מחלוקת. The whole מחלוקת, the whole halacha is built upon a מחלוקת. According to the Rambam, Rashba, and Ran, אין בישול אחד בישול אף בלח שנצנן. Therefore, Maran wasn't posek lechumra in the case of bishul achar bishul belach, that became cold. Ela keshu b'vashem b'yadayim bishul isur deoraita. The Achronim were trying to make a distinction between how come with regular soup that was cooked and cooled down, Maran was machmir, but by our empanada, he was mekel. How come? It's the same thing in essence. So they're trying to say that, no, when it's isur deoraita of cooking with my hands, Maran was machmir. But this is a delayed reaction. I'm cooking. They're going to say that right now. Okay, we said that. אבל היכא שבשעת נתינתו הוא יבש, ולא הביא אלא גרם בישול, very good, it was a delayed reaction, it was an indirect cooking, אשר הוא רק לאחר זמן וממילא יהיה הרוטב נימוח ונוזלי, and regardless, the sauce will become liquidy. They explain, ובגרם בישול שיוסו מדרבנן פסק לכולה. This is a very big yesod that the Achronim were trying to reveal for us in the opinion of Maran. Maran was machmir, like the Rishonim who are machmir, don't reheat liquids when they were cooked, because it's a pure liquid, and when you put it onto the plata yourself, you're reheating it. But anytime it's a gram bishul, grama, the Gemara Masechet Shabbat says, melacha hu da'asar achamane, grama shareh. The Torah forbade direct melacha. But indirect melachot are permitted. Anytime you do a grama, it knocks down a melacha from deoraita to derabanan. It's a concept in Melechet Shabbat called Melechet machshevet asra Torah. I had to intend to do the melacha to be liable from the Torah. Any grama is one level lower, and it's only asur derabanan. Not only, but there's no chayav sekila for it. Bingo. So because we have the Machlok Rishonim, according to the Rambam and the Rashba and the Ran, it's mutar anyway. Plus the grama element, Maran was posek lehakel in the case of the empanada. Good, very important halacha. What? Not as it maybe. Yeah, sort of. What? No. If you do it beshinui, it is considered a grama. Good question. And the Or Letzion and the Rav Ovadia both bring this to the halacha Even though Maran was machmir with cooking after cooking with liquid, Hainu davka b'shel Torah. That's only with explicit, direct Torah prohibition of cooking. Aval b'derabanan, but a rabbinic prohibition of cooking. Dehavalev sveka derabanan ve'lekula. It will be a sveka derabanan, and you can be lenient. That's Halichot Olam, Chazon Ovadia, or Letzion. Both Ravad and Rabbeinu Abba Shaul are posek like this lahakel, and it's a very important halacha for us to remember. Very, very good.
How do you define Melachot of Shabbat?
Very good. There's a famous Rabbi Akiva Eger that Rabbi Chaim always brings. Well, answer that question later. But it's a very important halacha. It's a very, very, very deep idea that Rabbi Chaim brings. But we can learn it afterward together. How to define Melachot of Shabbat. Separate topic, but it's important. We'll get there. Okay? And we'll just continue with the halacha. Umitoch kach. Based on this principle, we've learned Yesh lidmod heter la'arot mayim chamim kirishon al gabe melach o sukar. I can pour hot water from a klirishon onto salt or sugar. De'af shebemaga hamayim imam hem nimuchim miyad. Even though once the water gets dissolved into the salt or the sugar, immediately the salt and sugar will dissolve and melt on the instant because it's hot boiling water. Crazy kula.
Water or salt?
Both salt and sugar.
You're not cooking the water.
I'm not cooking the water, I'm cooking the salt and the sugar, but they were both already cooked ones.
What does that mean they're cooked?
How's the sugar cooked?
I don't think it's raw sugar. I think there was part of the process was pasteurization.
All sugar reacts.
And this is the most important. V'chen hu hadin le'inyan kafe names, instant coffee, kakao ve'avkak shoko. Cocoa and chocolate powder, because you can pour directly onto them from a kli rishon, because at its first glance they're considered yavesh, and based on this opinion, the Shulchan Aruch you can be lenient. It's important to note that the Orchot Shabbat is machmir. The Ashkenazi might be machmir for this halacha, but according to the Shulchan Aruch, according to Maran, you can be machmir. What?
It feels so wrong pouring hot water straight onto instant coffee.
Yeah, it feels weird. But according to the Shulchan Aruch, it's mutar.
Yeah, I would say just to
See that because it's raw?
It's so good to just like have a cliche, you know? Teabag, you need it.
So the Ben Ish Chai is machmir. The Ben Ish Chai is machmir and says by sugar, you should first put warm water in the cup, then pour sugar into it to be fully safe. The Ben Ish Chai says to be safe, just pour the hot water first and pour the sugar. To make sugar to klishani is mutar the kulal. No. I pour from the urn into the hot cup, pour the sugar into the cup right away. Like that, you're protecting yourself.
Wait, with the first cup.
But with salt, you don't have to be machmir.
I thought you have to go from the first cup
What's the
to the
difference
second
between
cup.
That's for tea.
Yeah.
We're talking about sugar.
Darren asked tea raw.
Yes. Not maybe.
That's what we.
Maybe. Some tea yes, some tea no. Even the no one is still considered kala bishul, which is what we saw about with the fish in the Shulchan Aruch yesterday, that it gets cooked easily, so we're machmir. Even though from the din Gemara and klishani in Omer Bashel, with kala bishul, we are choshesh that it might.
And why does it matter for, let's say it's not cooked, like tea or whatever, it's not cooked. You're still cooking it, even if it's not boiling, like isn't it still yatsul lepo?
What?
It's impossible to cook in a cliche.
Yeah, that's the Gemara's conclusion is kli sheni eno mevashel.
Why?
Now it's a big machal rishonim. Why?
so very
Can you cook an egg in a kli sheni? You cannot. It's a classic example. No, you
Allowed
can't.
to or able to?
Able to. Impossible. Scientifically, go. Take it to your science lab. Try boiling an egg in your kli sheni. Impossible. And the reason is why it's important. Yeah. The reason is very important. Is it the walls cool down the liquid? Is it the air when it was poured cools down the water? That's the machal rishonim.
It seems so negligent.
Klishani is a second utensil. There's a primary heat source that would be called the kli rishon, and a secondary heat source that's called the klishani. Okay, not secondary heat source. It's a derivative of the primary heat source. So I have an urn. That's boiling water in that. That's a kli rishon. I pour that into a cup. The cup is now a klishani. It's a derivative of the primary heat source. Then the next cup would be a kli shlishi, etc. Good? We'll wrap up with here. Chazak ubaruch.